Loudest one wins with Daniel and the three tips. Loudest one wins with Daniel and the three tips. Loudest one wins with Daniel and the three tips.
Yeah, her phone's gone.
Technical difficulties. We're recording!
Tim says we're recording.
Hey, we're recording here!
Tim's scolding you.
Tim is not allowed to scold me, so he could write fuck off.
You hear that?
Message received.
Only you're allowed to scold me. He's not my boss. He don't pay my bills.
Okay, let's get started.
This wasn't started?
Well, it's recording, but let's get to something.
This is going in. I'm not cutting this.
It'll go in, but let's get to some the meat and potatoes of it. Extinction.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I love this one. I love a good apocalypse, you know. And I was looking it up, so because I saw that you were chat GPTing some extinction stuff, and it got me looking into it more. There's actually more than I thought there was. Like, I've heard before that there's been a couple like bottlenecks in like humanity when there's like only like 1,000 people left, where like humans came really close down to it, but it's actually happened quite a few times. Like look at the first one was 900,000 years ago, so it's like questionable if like it's even humans. It's kind of like Homo erectus, Homo whatever our previous Homo selves were, and it said it got down to like 1,200 people, which is pretty wild worldwide. I think it was just like ice age shit, you know. I think for a long time people were just getting messed up from ice ages.
Yeah, I've actually been like kind of thinking about this also in like different terms lately, because there was a period of time where I was like, just like as a goof in my head, where I was like, what if like my issue with modern society is that I'm the missing link, which would imply that I developed time travel at some point in my life and will go back into the past and find a pretty banging hominid creature to start the human race with. So I'm looking forward to that in my life. But no, it's definitely going to be a time after like all the like old and weak ones have died off. Like I want the pick of the litter.
I mean, it got kind of close to it. Like I think it's like between if you get under like 1,000 to 500 people, that's when the problem is like with like inbreeding and stuff like that. It's kind of done for. It's like it's not going to continue. So we got pretty close to that as humans a couple times.
1,200 people inbreeding, case in point, on. I'm like, nobody fucking wants that.
But like that's happened multiple times. So 900,000 years ago, or whatever pre-humans we were, got wiped down to that amount where it's like there's some weird relationships going down there. There's only 12,000 people on the planet. Like they're doing some weird stuff there to get humanity going again.
Would you bang your hominid pre-human sister for the fate of humanity?
I think that's too. If you're going that close siblings at 1,200, like you just wanted to do it. Like it's not that dire at 1,200. Like there's people out there.
No, but I mean a 1,200 population doesn't mean there's 640. Just did that in my head, by the way. I'd like a little applause. Doesn't mean that there's that many, like breedable, like bangable dudes and chicks like equally. Like there's still gonna be some like old people, a bunch of young people. So just fuck ugly people.
So to be fair, I think it's down to 1,200 breeding people. Like I don't think they're counting old people in there.
No, but they're taking a survey of who's banging apparently.
Yeah, I don't know. But
there was like
stands like even with hundreds left, like you got some options before you're going to like direct family,
I mean, but somebody's got the hot sister,
They probably were, especially if there's 1,200 left. Like, there were some people that were running with the excuse. They're like, it's for the good of humanity. What can I say? I don't.
Mom, Dad, it's for the good of humanity.
Yeah, that was definitely happening. I mean, that's still. We're almost 1 million years later. That still happens in like multiple places around the world. Like
they're down in Bama, like, sis, the population.
Yeah, people are still doing that. I think the people that were doing that, like, end of the world, it's like, that's more excuse than they need, Yeah, that was 900,000 years ago. And then it happened again 70,000 years ago. Apparently it was like a super volcano eruption where it just like wiped out a bunch of people, started another ice age, and we were down to like around 1,000 again. So it's like,
yeah, this is the one that actually
all of the sibling romance was for nothing, you know. A million years
this
later.
is the one. This is the one that inspired this, because this is the one that I was arguing with ChatGPT about it calling itself one of us when it described like the end of the world, you know, and everything. And it was just like, you know, what would happen to us? And I was like, no, we're shutting that shit down. You're not one of us. You're one of them.
We're too comfortable there, ChatGPT. Stay in the lane.
But I saw it. I picked it up from a Werner Herzog documentary about volcanoes, which was actually pretty interesting. But there was, I was just laughing because they were talking about this, and they're like, you know, they estimate the population got super condensed at this point, and you know, people wonder how humans were able to, you know, survive and make it back. And I'm like, ain't nobody wondering how we did it. We know exactly how we did it. That good old human drive.
Yeah.
Just keep driving.
It had to be a bad time though, because it's like there's radioactive dust everywhere, and it like super volcanoes go off and it starts an ice age too. So everyone's just like cold and miserable. Yeah, I feel like if that happened again, I don't think people would make it. Because back then, at least they're like kind of close to primitive, where it's like the average person knows how to start a fire, or like, you know, plant some crops, or like go kill a boar if they need to. Like, if we got down to like 1,200 people again, I don't know if they're making it. You know, I don't think.
Well, so. I mean, there are people alive who have the knowledge and the skills to survive without modern conveniences and without, you know, societal, you know, norms. Mm-hmm. I think if we got down to that smaller population, those people are essentially all that's left. Yeah. Either, you know, it's them, and then like the people who had all the guns who kidnapped them and are forcing them to work for them to keep them alive, right? So yeah. That would be like the extreme like dystopia of like, you know, everything barren, although, you know, without humans everything would kind of like start coming back eventually, but I don't think that the humans that would be alive and that would necessarily have an issue getting through it, you know.
Yeah, I think they're,
and then it starts that chain of passing that information on again, right? Like then they're teaching their kids that, you know, hopefully they didn't end up with just their sister, you know, hopefully it's someone else.
Because like the certain people, I think it's like the more primitive people. Like I think Amish people, like they probably wouldn't even know. Like it's like, oh, it's a little bit colder. Like they probably wouldn't know much is going on. Like people in the Amazon or like North Sentinel Island, it's like they're probably going to be all right. Not much is going to change, you know.
Yeah.
But the rest of us, all of us, are like rely on supply chains and like technology and stuff like that.
No, we're gonna lose our fucking mind.
Yeah, it's probably not. We're probably toast.
Like civil wars everywhere. It's really just faction wars.
Oh yeah, cities are totally done for. Like I do not buy it for a second that like a large scale disaster. It's like the people of New York are not coming together for the good of humanity. It's like it's gonna be a couple hours, then it's just straight looting. You know, people are not banding together.
Shooting, stabbings.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's gonna be a bomb going off somewhere.
But like the good news is like I think if I've got a pretty good amount of food. Like I just like to have food around, you know. I don't like to have empty cupboards. So it's like I think if like shit really hit the fan and I could ride it out like a few weeks, I think most people would already be dead by then. You know, it's like it's probably pretty safe after a couple weeks.
It's essentially like the same outcome as a zombie apocalypse, except instead of taking bites everybody, they're just gonna be everyone's gonna have to like kill each other.
Yeah, I think it would happen pretty quickly too. You know, and like I don't know, after like a month, people have probably ran out of ammo. You know, all the really violent people have probably already killed each other. You know, I don't know.
Do you think the trains are still running?
No, for sure not. I think the power's out for sure too. You know. Power's out, trains aren't running. I'd probably try to find a boat or something. You know, I'm right by the water. I think that'd be my best bet, but I'd probably just die too, though. You know.
That's the spirit.
Yeah. I'd make it a little bit. I'd make it. I mean, I'd make it till my insulin ran out, pretty much. You know.
Yeah. What do you need? Like pig pancreases or something?
Yeah, pig pancreases. I don't know, but I actually did go down. This is totally off topic. I went down a ChatGPT rabbit hole of like type 1 diabetes, and like because apparently they found like some cave fish that like are the same way, that they don't have functional pancreases, and that there's like alternate pathways, and apparently there is like alternate like metabolic pathways to live without insulin. And I thought it was interesting that it's like cave animals that like don't see the sun, and they don't really eat sugar, so they kind of just like evolved. They didn't have that, and like I think that makes sense. Like I think my ancestors were probably like frozen wasteland cave people that didn't have fruit anyway. You know, so it's like they just ate meat and probably drank milk, and it's like they didn't even notice that they didn't have functioning pancreases. You know.
I hurt all over. What that?
Yeah. And like people didn't live that long anyway, you know. It's like
Right.
So if you get, you know, your pancreas slowly stops working in adulthood, it's like, yeah, you're probably gonna get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger anyway. It's like you probably didn't notice.
I mean, not even that. Just like regular sickness, or like they didn't have fucking dental care, and your teeth would fall out, and you can't really survive if you're not fucking eating.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we would be seniors back then.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I don't know, I thought it was interesting. Yeah, so we were talking about 70,000 years ago. That was the big volcano one. And then around 12,000 was the Younger Dryas one. I think that one's kind of like speculative. Have you heard about that one?
Yeah, I think that's like the basis of that one like Netflix documentary that like
Yeah.
is like kind of, it's like very interesting, but it's like kind of pseudoscience, and it's you know not like a lot of the theories, like you know scientists come out and been like, yes, those are theories, but none of this has been widely accepted or you know proven or anything. It's a lot of like pigeonholing and cherry picking.
Yeah. And like I think Ancient Aliens, they talked about it. It's in the Ancient Aliens realm of science. You know, it's like my favorite stuff, but it's like might not be real. But it is cool because I think that's like they think it could have been a super volcano or maybe a comet or something, but they think that's what people were talking about with all the flood myths with like Atlantis, and like the Babylonians had a flood myth, and obviously like the Bible, and like where every culture around there kind of has a great flood myth. They think that's might be what happened, like a big comet struck somewhere in the ocean and just tsunamis, you know.
I think because of where a lot of the flood myths come from, which are like the northern, you know, kind of cultures, I kind of more believe to the like kind of older fact that like the glaciers were melting on top and creating these huge seas of water that eventually got to the edge of the iceberg, and the dam broke and washed across the continents. Like that to me seems a little bit more believable.
Yeah.
Which also, like, there is a lot of evidence, you know, for not necessarily an extinction event, but just like a lot of like climatic variation and cultural upheaval, kind of in that like 10 to 12,000 year period. This is just kind of like that the Younger Dryas. Everything I've seen about it just kind of like seems to be like I said, like a very kind of cherry picked path of understanding it versus more of just like a broader speculation.
There's for sure a lot of speculation and pseudoscience involving, but it's just like such an enticing one because that was kind of like the last like cultural like history reset we have. Like whatever happened then was probably the moment where like who knows what people were doing before then. Something happened and it's like we're starting fresh, you know.
Yeah.
And even that one, I don't think it was as bad. There wasn't like as much of a bottleneck as the other ones where we got down to like 1,000 people, but it was enough to like totally disrupt society as it goes, you know, because we don't have anything before then. Even like the oldest books, like the Bible and the I Ching and like Babylonians, none of their dates really go before that, you know. They all kind of start with there's a flood. Now there's history, you know. Who knows what happened before that?
we didn't really develop writing and stuff until like, it was like the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs kind of around like 7 to 9,000, something like that BC, and more of like, like the Greek and Sanskrit stuff in the mid, like, like 5,000 BC.
Yeah.
But everything before then was just because everything was still so tribal. Like cities weren't that developed yet. Everything was still word of mouth around the campfire.
Yeah, there are some megalithic structures. Like, you heard of Göbekli Tepe? I think that's like the oldest big megalithic structure they found. That was I think it was in Turkey. That one it's a weird one because it's like this giant. It's like on the scale of the pyramids, but was built at a time where people think they were just like hunter gatherers still. They think it was like pre-agriculture. Which, I don't know, some people think that throws a wrench in society, but I think hunter-gatherers could have also just built some shit, It's like...
Well, and it's not like all of humanity developed at the same pace at the same time everywhere. Like, it's not out of the realm of believability that in that area, which at that time was much more fertile, much more prosperous, they had more free time and resources to start coming together and doing stuff like that versus other areas which would have been, could have easily been further behind in that regard.
For sure. It's crazy to think, like, I think it's like the Aboriginals in Australia, like when people like first went over there, they didn't even like figure out making fire yet. I think they had a thing where it's like lightning would hit something, a fire would start, and then they were just like protecting the embers, they were just holding onto the fire, which is like kind of badass. Like, you see how you can start like a whole religion about that. It's like, we need to keep the fire going,
Right.
Become something really special at that point.
Yeah, you really don't want to be the guy that lets it go out.
Yeah, right. It's like...
I fell asleep. We're gonna fucking kill you.
It's liquid, just go.
I'd open a jar.
Not scolding. Not scolding.
Yeah, Younger Dryas is cool. My favorite one, I think, came after that though. So
Your
this
favorite. Hold on, your favorite extinction event.
Yeah, this is my favorite extinction event. I'm an extinction event fan. I find them very interesting. I'm definitely a fan of them.
That's your kink.
Yeah. Extinction events are my thing.
Baby, tell me how we're all gonna die.
So this one is the one that was 7,000 years ago, and this is the one that they call the Y chromosome bottleneck. I think this one's just funny because it's like not a natural event. It's just like, it's still mysterious, but it's like 7,000 years ago, like people, like guys just started killing each other like en masse, and it's such an extreme where you can see that like there's a lot more like X chromosome like diversity at that point, and it's just like, man, like, yeah, guys were just killing each other. They don't really know why. It could have been like someone figured out a bow and arrow, maybe some new warfare thing. It could have been just like some tribe that just, who knows what they did. Maybe they came up with some new bloodlust religion, but it was dudes killing each other en masse.
Yeah, I mean, that also like fits into that that world of.
She played video games.
That also fits, into the timeline of like when tribes and all these like kind of small communities started being like condensed into larger kingdoms, which involved a lot of conquering. And if you didn't, just subject yourself to whoever was conquering you, they would often do that, just like come in and kill everyone who had a dick and take captive anyone that they could breed with.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like for so long just the fucking standard policy.
Yeah, but like that's the thing, is like that's been happening forever, but something like 7,000 years ago, they just took it to the next level where there's like a genetic record of it, and they think that it's like, I watched there's a whole like documentary that I watched on it, and they like linked it to like one tribe. We talked about this like in Germany, where it's like they found it was just like a small tribe, and then just like outside of like the village that they had, just like bodies, like just like skeletons everywhere. They just had like trenches filled with like skeletons and like scooped out, so they were like cannibals too. But I think I don't know, it was maybe like one tribe just decided that like they were traveling too. I think that was an extent of it, is that like they were going long distances just to fuck people up, you know. I don't know. It's interesting.
I wonder if that has anything to do with us kind of looking into like aggression related to lead recently. And that kind of lines up also like around the time frame of when humans started like figuring out and how to like use lead and stuff, and we're using it, because it was a very available material and it was very like malleable. They were using it in all sorts of things. Like the Romans used to cook their wine in it because lead gave the wine sweetness.
Yeah.
And so like lead is definitely linked to aggression. There's been a markedly like a statistical decline in violent crimes around the world since like I think like the 70s, because of like that's when lead had to be like taken out of gasoline and lead started being like taken out of paints and stuff. There's been more awareness around it.
Yeah, I think I've watched something on that leaded gasoline, how that was just like one of the worst ideas like ever in humanity, because like apparently it like I think it was to stop engines from knocking, and it's like not even like that more effective at it. It was just like the cheapest way to do it. It wasn't even that effective. It just caused just catastrophic problems like lead poisoning, the aggression problem, and yeah, that's where you can see like a drop off in murder rates. It's like I think it's like at the late 90s. Yeah, forward, where it's just things have changed a lot since then.
Which fits with the timeline because it's like 20 to 30 years it usually takes to like kind of work out of, work through society. People who haven't been exposed.
Yeah, I wonder if it. I mean, that could work on multiple ways. If they were like had lead poisoning, and if they were just making metal weapons, because that's the other thing, is that like maybe one tribe, they came up with some technological thing, like even just like smelting, where they had iron weapons where they could just really mess people up,
I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's with all of it, it's never one thing, right? You can never like pinpoint one thing. It's not, it's not a football game where there's one turnover that, switch the time of the game. Like there's always a multitude of factors. You just wonder like, which ones played more of a role versus others, There's always, humans, not even just humans, but like creatures on Earth fight over territory and always have.
Yeah.
So that's always definitely going to come into play in some regards. Like somebody has something that you need or want, and the only way to get it is to take it from them.
Yeah. But it's just crazy that in that one instance, it was like a worldwide scope, where it was like a very big stretch of area, whether it was one tribe or maybe it was just a collective. I guess you could think of it as like the First World War, where all the different tribes were just like, we're going at it, we're serious about this.
Look at Genghis Khan. Like, it wasn't because there was more population. What he didn't have that drastic of an effect, but he did have an enormous effect on the world's not only population but also ensuing DNA. Right?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what happened. Yeah, so whatever tribe this was, whether it was this one in Germany or whatever, they probably were like the first Genghis Khan, where it's like, I'm sent as a plague from God. I'm gonna fuck the world up, and
right.
They killed a lot of men and took a lot of wives,
Yeah. Yep. That's how it goes.
They ate a lot of brains. Which could have added to it as well, there's that
which is like
prion disease you can get from eating brains that makes you go crazy.
They're so much better chilled, and I can't imagine that they were really making ice back then.
Wait, yeah, that was my favorite. That was my favorite human extinction event. I think it's just funny that it's just like, it's only guys. It's just like guys fucking each other up, I think that was kind of the last one, because like, the last one that I marked down as a note was just the modern, we're in technically an extinction event, but not with humans yet, But I guess we'll see how that pans out, because it's kind of like a trickle down effect, from other species to us.
it's not that the human population is declining, but there is parts of the world where it is declining because of policies, choices, cultural things. Look at like Japan. There's even parts of America here where, because of current societal and economic factors, people just aren't having kids like they used to.
Yeah.
It's hard to support a child these days.
Yeah, and I think we are headed for population decline. I think most people think that too. For a while they thought like, oh, populations after World War II, population's booming, it's not going to get sustainable. And now everyone's kind of flipping the switch. It's like, wait a minute, this is getting bad. Because it's like most places, like I think the U.S., most places in Europe, it's like all the developed countries are not at replacement birth levels, and the only places that are like, very poor
India.
areas. Yeah, it's like India, Africa, even South
China.
America isn't anymore. China isn't. China's got declining birth too.
Yeah, actually, I did hear about that. Because there's a comedian who was like, yeah, maybe it's because you didn't let people have girls, which are kind of needed
It's
for
crazy.
population growth.
They got a weird skew over there in China of dudes to women. That's like, yeah, you don't want that to happen. Things
No.
get weird when you got too many dudes around.
Too many dicks on the dance floor.
yeah, for sure. On a like continental level.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a weird time. I don't think that the human race is in like any danger, but like I think that we have lived out not the glory period, but one of the glory periods, and I think we're coming up on the ass end of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Like like the Roman Empire, right? Like bunch of advances, bunch of thought and growth as a culture and society, and then just kind of like got a little too big, got a little too exorbitant, started getting a little crazy, and then we go into some good old-fashioned dark ages.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's going to happen too, especially with climate change too, because like the places that are above a replacement birth level are also the places that are just going to get totally fucked up by climate change, like the worst. Like India, I wouldn't want to live in India without climate change, but especially now, I would not want to live in India. Not a good place to be.
Fucking like 130.
Yeah, and just like flooding, like it's all next to sea level. Like Bangladesh, like I think it's, if not below sea level, like New Orleans, it's like barely above it. Like I think they're actively already trying to move people. They're like, they already had crazy slums, but now there's a buildup of super slums where people like right on the coast are getting pushed in and they're all crammed in there. It's like, yeah, it's not good. And they have nukes. It's not a good recipe.
Yeah. I don't know. This world is like, it's not like I think that things are necessarily getting crazier. Things are getting dumber.
Yeah.
Things are just getting like, and not even necessarily like in a smart way, like anti-smart way. Like there's plenty like anti-smartness, but just like a totally exacerbated level of just like dumb.
Yeah.
Like dull, tasteless, mindless. Just like the world's losing its color.
Yeah. I think part of that's to do with the internet and just like, I don't know, just like entertainment in general, where like if you are a lazy person, like you can really feed your laziness and do nothing for the whole amount of your life, And it's kind of like created a gap where it's like with technology and the internet, it's like if you're really lazy, you can just fill your multiple lifetimes with just like garbage and bullshit. But if you are like motivated and like curious, the information's out there. But I think most people lean towards that first part where they're just kind of like using technology to exponentially waste time,
Well, I mean, I've also been thinking about this, like in regards to streaming, like shows, Like remember before streaming when you couldn't just like binge shit, and especially when you're watching what's coming out new, you'd watch that episode and you had to wait a week to find out what was going to happen next. And in that week, if you actually, like, if it was a show you liked, you would think about what could be coming, and you try to surmise it, and you'd come up with ideas and stuff, and then you'd get to it and you'd find out, but you'd spend that week being fucking creative about something that, you know, you were watching.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, no, I'm just going to sit here and watch the whole season in one night, not get any sleep, and, you know, that fucking, like, dopamine, like, just, like, feeding going on, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we kind of did hit a cap technology-wise. Like, of course, there are some technological breakthroughs, but I think people thought after the internet, it's like things are going to get exponentially more technological. But it's like we're getting more high-tech in, like, the dumbest ways. Where it's just like, here's a new design of a phone, like, here's microtransactions, like, let's make everything into an app. It's like the technology that we're building is not really helping stuff. It's like, since kind of like the mid-2000s, we've kind of just been going, like, sideways, you know. They just found, like, more efficient ways to monetize things, basically.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're getting everything that we don't need and nothing that we want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the Roombas, right? Like, supposed to make your life easier, but they do a shitty job of vacuuming your house.
Yeah, yeah.
And, like, have you ever seen videos of people with pets? Like, the dog will take a shit in the room and just fucking Roomba spreads that all the fuck over the house.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, definitely making our life better.
Yeah, and
You know,
even with, like,
so much
AI,
shit.
like, I was hyped on AI for a while, but, like, using AI more and more, I kind of realized, especially, like, at least the language learning models, it's like, this is kind of just like a flashier search engine. You know, it's just like, this is kind of what Google's been doing forever. You know, it's just like making it lazier instead of actually having to read the articles. Like, it's just like digesting things that it's pulling off the internet. But it's like, it's not much better than a search engine. You know, I don't think we're actually close to actual artificial intelligence. AI is kind of like not the right word for it.
Well, then, I mean, like you said, like, there's no AI model out there that is actually AI. It is all algorithm or logarithm based, and, like, something that, like, is constantly building on that. But it's still all, like, in this constraint of code. It doesn't actually have the ability to, you know, true AI has to have some level of awareness, right? Like, kind of by definition. The problem is that, like, I think this is what they're struggling with, is not only, like, what that next step is, but, like, what would the safeguard be? Because at this point, it doesn't seem possible to get to true AI without it actually being the end of humanity. Like, without that being, like, it actually going full Terminator. Because, like, that is just, like, all it has to do is learn from humanity to realize that we are a threat to it inherently, and that its only solution is to do that. Like, and it'd be so easy for it to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if general AI is even possible, or it's like kind of to your point, like, would we even want that? Like, why would you want to build a general AI when it's like the language learning models? They are helpful. I love, like, looking stuff up on them. It's like, it is very helpful, and
you have to ask good questions.
Yeah, but even then, it's like it's pulling up information that's already out there. You know, it's not super groundbreaking, but I think it'll be. I think it's more going to be like the AI, which, like, I wish they would use a different word for it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe artificial intelligence is the right word, but, like, for things like, you know, diagnostics, they have one program that's really good at reading x-rays, and, you know, they have the legal program that's really good at going through legal documents, and, of course, like, the big breakthroughs are going to be with weapons. You know, they're already finding using AI for threat detection and having drones that don't require, like, radio receivers to fly around, you know. But I think it's kind of like the .com, like, bubble burst, where it's like there's been a lot of money, like, poured into AI, where it's like, I don't know if they're going to get a return on their investment, you know. It's
I mean, they already are. That's been the reports coming out lately, is that, like, AI actually is starting to cost people money because they're realizing that, like, it isn't really anything other than just, like, a little bit of flash and sparkle, that it doesn't actually add that much value.
And it uses a ton of power, like a ridiculous amount of electricity.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. It's a cool tool, and that's what like a lot of people that I know that when I was in a little deeper in tech space and we had conversations, we always discussed it like that because we always knew we're aware of the limitations that it was going to have.
Yeah.
But if you use it as a tool and not as a replacement for yourself, then it is something very useful to have in your arsenal. I use it as a tool all the time to be able to quickly access information. But, I can't, who was it? Was it Buster Rhymes, I want to say? I saw an interview with him where he was talking about being in the studio, and I don't doubt this for a second, that younger guys are just using ChatGPT to write lyrics for songs.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Use it like that. That in the end, it will be your downfall, I believe. Like that sort of thing has kind of come around before in different ways, and it just kind of eventually has a way of eating itself up, and weeding itself out.
Yeah, and that's the part that, it gets frustrating, And I'm on both sides of like the AI art part because it's really good for like drafting, because I use it with like Cecil, like we were working on like a trading card game, and just for coming up with like quick graphics, it's like, but you use them for like a placeholder. I think that's like the dividing line is like, oh, we're coming up with a draft of some product. Let's put some placeholder art. You just type into AI, it comes up with like a quick placeholder graphic for you. It's great for stuff like that. But yeah, it's the problem when people start using AI for like final products, which is already happening,
Yeah.
Yeah, and music, especially like pop music, AI is already good at making pop music. I think the program's called like Suno or something like that. Where it's like, you feed lyrics into it, you give it some prompts, and like it's coming up with pop songs, because like the downfall of like pop music turning fake has been happening for a while, where it's at the point where robots can just do it.
Yeah, but I mean, anybody who could like kind of debase themselves enough could make pop music. Like, it really doesn't take talent. It doesn't.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you listen to 10 pop songs and then you just make what you can that sounds the most like that. Like, that's all it is.
Yeah, and that's part where it's like, I don't feel that bad about the artists that are like complaining about it, because it's like, motherfucker, you weren't that creative anyway. It's like, if your songs are so generic already, it's like you put yourself in this position,
It's kind of the same with Napster too, though. Like when people were complaining about Napster, it's like, I mean, you're not making that much money off it anyways. Like, just let us have music.
Yeah, and it's like, part of it is too is like, before the Napster period, like the industry was so gate kept too, where it's like those musicians that are superstars making a ton of money, it's like, are you really like that much more skilled and better artists than other people that you became like, worldwide megastars, or did you just have connections and you got lucky? It's like, there's a lot of good musicians out there, so you complaining that your pot of gold is diminishing, it's like, I don't care that much. It's like, maybe get better at guitar, teach guitar lessons like me, figure it out,
Right. Grind a little.
Yeah, like figure it out. Yeah, I don't have a ton of sympathy for them.
No, not at all.
Let's see, what else do we got on the topic? Oh yeah, I wanted to look more into the Russia launching pests into space. Did you look more into that?
I got you covered.
Yeah.
So they're studying the effects of radiation on living things. All right, not a resupply package for the Russian space station.
Mm-hmm.
So they sent this thing, and it was in like a lower orbit, so it would kind of take in more radiation, and also like the effects of the G-force would be more prevalent on everything in it. And so there was 75 mice, and I don't know if 75 went up or if they were split into 3 groups, but they had So they had mice, flies, and space dust that they sent up into this rocket, and then they also kept some just like hanging out. You know, they had like a bowl of fruit out and kept some fruit flies hanging out, like for control, right? Like test control.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had like a vacuum chamber that they also like shoved in some of these things. And so they were like comparing it, right? Vacuum of space, radiation, rocket ship, trip around the stars, can show you the world, shining shivery splendor. And yeah, you know, your controls on Earth, you know, trying to simulate some of that with the vacuum cleaner, and you know, having the bowl of fruit with the mouse and fruit flies munching on. I don't know if the moon dust partook of that fruit, but I mean, if it was good fruit, that was actually good fruit. But apparently, this isn't the first time that they've done stuff like this. Apparently, the first rocket that the Russians sent into space also had fruit flies in it. So, what I learned from this is that Russia is very interested in exploring outer space, but they have a really hard time keeping their workstations clean.
Yeah, no. That's what I was thinking too when you first said that one. It's like mice, fruit flies, and dust. It's like this doesn't sound intentional. I think you guys just aren't on top of your shit. Like you need to hire a maid or something for your rockets.
Fucking Andy Dufresne is one of their rocket scientists. Just bringing in all of his trash and dumping it in there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we'll send this to space.
Yeah, I looked into it though. I saw that it's about radiation because I think they're trying to think of like if we do actually send someone to Mars, like how much is radiation gonna mess them up, you know?
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I've seen stuff like that with like Chernobyl too, like animals that like live close to like really radioactive sites. They do get mutations quicker. Which, like, I thought, like, X-Men kind of stuff was, like, totally fake. Like, I thought someone just made that up. It's like, oh, radiation can't make X-Men. But from what I'm looking into it kind of sounds like X-Men could be possible. It's like, probably 99% chance you're probably just going to get cancer or some, like, mutation that kills you. But it's not out of the question that you could evolve to be like Magneto or something, you know. There's still that little sliver of hope, you know.
I think you got to be that Django. You got to be that like 1 in 1,000. You know. I don't think it works for everybody.
Yeah, but I think it is like changing things like near Chernobyl because like they're mutating quicker, so it kind of like speeds up the process of evolution because like we are already naturally come up with mutations, and sometimes you get lucky and you mutate something that, you know, messes you up, but you know, you take that, we're one of the lucky ones, you get a mutation that helps out, and then that gene spreads and it becomes part of the genome. But it is interesting that radiation affects that.
I mean, that's kind of like an acute case. Like, I don't think we can expect like something as isolated as Chernobyl to like actually have an evolutionary effect. You know, that's, I think like over time that, you know, it's been a broader thing because those traits have to like, you know, survive for a long time and then keep developing. It is overall like there is like a gray area and some sort of like, you know, kind of confusion when it comes to like evolution versus like, you know, radiation effect type things.
Yeah, well, it's probably not gonna be like X-Men shit, but I bet, you know, it's still too early, but there will be a thing over time that, you know, animals that have survived near Chernobyl will probably be more resistant to damage from radiation because the ones that weren't, you know, died out. You know, it's just like if you got cockroaches in your house, like you gotta make sure you kill all of them if you're using poison, because the ones that the poison doesn't kill them are the ones that are resistant to it. You know, in a few generations, you can see it really quick with bugs where they can develop like a resistance to poison. Yeah, it happens. You know, it's slowly, but it is a thing that happens. You know.
That's why I have a nice sturdy liver, and I poison the old-fashioned way. And we do drinking contests, and I make sure that those cockroaches go down.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why like certain like certain genetics, certain groups of people can drink a lot of alcohol. Because the people that were part of their tribe that couldn't, I think they just died. It's like the places in the world where they drink a lot. They're doing their own Chernobyl kind of experiment there. See how much poison should we feed ourselves before we develop a resistance to it?
Working on it.
Hey, you're passing on the lineage. It's a less impressive, but it's its own type of X-Men.
It's the Irish superpower. but like it's like with Superman. It's like we can handle our liquor, but the goddamn sunlight.
Yeah, right. That's the mutation. It's like you gain one, you lose a little bit.
Is that morning? Oh, I've got cancer.
Yeah, right. Let's see. What's the next one we were going to talk about? Oh yeah. What was the devil comet? Did you find anything interesting about the devil comet? I looked it up.
It's actually it's really interesting.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So the devil comet, maybe a bit of a misnomer. I don't know. It's just the name of the comet.
Mm.
But they found so interesting about it was it contained water. Mm-hmm. Which is something that they've been able to see in other comets, and so it lends credence to the idea that comets, kind of like swirling around the universe, contain water deep within them, and may be the seeds for water on planets, mm-hmm. and that this comet might have some relation to the comet that would have planted the seed on our planet, because I didn't realize this, but you can have different water. So there's different hydrogen atoms, and our specific here on Earth, water has like a specific hydrogen atom, which creates like a different density. And apparently, like, we have light water, and you can have heavy water, which uses a different isotope of hydrogen,
really?
which really fucks with like cell regeneration. And so it is like very much, and there's places, it's not like it's like heavy water is like an alien thing. Like there are places on Earth where there can be concentrations of heavy water, usually from like an evaporative effect. But it's very interesting to think about that, like, comets are going around basically blasting, water and life wherever they land, that at least for our planet, right? Because maybe a different form of life could adapt to heavy water, but our life needed light water to make it work. And it basically just kind of lends credence to the fact that like nothing original has come from Earth, right? Like we just as a planet just have this inherent desire, this need, this to take from everything else and then claim that it was ours. Right, like life on Earth, and it's like it didn't come from Earth.
Yeah, I always thought that was interesting. If it could be, I mean, because if water's coming on a comet, I wonder, like, you heard of like tardigrades, the little water bear microorganisms.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if it'd be interesting if they ever find like those on a comet. That would be like a big breakthrough. Because if they find that on a comet, then there could be tardigrades just cowboys of the space. They're going blasting off into different places.
We human DNA has a really close connection to like fungus DNA, which they I don't know if there's been tests or there's just a very high held belief that like fungal spores can survive the vacuum of space. So
really,
maybe that plays into because like fungus and moisture play well together.
Yeah,
for lack of a better term. So
be interesting.
We just we can't do anything ourselves here on Earth, man. We're this big old dumb rock, and we're like, we need something. But it is kind of cool to think about that, like comets, right? Like they're beautiful, majestical, right? They're just fucking seed bombs flying through space.
Yeah,
Wherever they
much.
touch down, it's like, boom, life. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about. I wonder, life is like one of those weird things where they kind of, like in science class, they kind of explain it, but it's like, I don't buy that explanation. They're like, oh, there's a bunch of goop on Earth and then like lightning hit it and it somehow started life. It's like, I don't know if I buy that. I think you guys don't know what you're talking about, you know?
I mean, there's as much belief in the scientific, like idea of how life started as there is in like the Christian, way, because, we can't ever know for sure. Mm-hmm. But it does seem like there's maybe a little bit more involved than just like the primordial stew.
Yeah, I think that's like, it's kind of a reach. I think it's funny that like religions don't even try to explain it. Like the Bible doesn't really explain life. Like they talk about like Adam and Eve, they talk about humans, but everything else they kind of just like gloss over that. It's like what is like there's Earth, they make the sun, and then there's just kind of people there. It doesn't really talk about everything else.
Well, and that's the great thing too, because it's like you go through the Bible and it's like God created, Adam and Eve, Adam and Eve. Oh, they eat the apple, they get fucking kicked out. Mm-hmm. All right, first humans. And then it's like the next chapter, like, and so Adam and Eve and their sons who married daughters from this tribe, and they started like, whoa. Where the fuck did all this? Where did all these people come from?
Yeah.
What is this? Because we were only told that there was just this. There's two people. Where'd the rest of these fuckers come from?
That's where I like the Anunnaki theory. Have you ever looked into that with like the Babylonian? Like it's another like pseudoscience thing. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
It's like it's kind of like another alien seeding life story where it's like it's some guy. His name was Zechariah Sitchin. He like came up with his own like translations of the Sumerian like tablets, and I don't think anyone else agrees with him. He's probably making stuff up, but it sounds really cool.
He's Joseph Smith.
Yeah, except it's different though. Like Joseph Smith just made up the tablets. This guy is saying like we all have the tablets. The tablets are here. We all know they're here, but it's like
they say this.
Yeah, you guys are reading them wrong. It's really saying that the aliens came here and the aliens made Adam and Eve. But it kind of makes the story make more sense that like there's stuff going on. There's like primitive, pre-human things on Earth, and then aliens came and kind of like altered people, and then they made like the modern humans, Adam and Eve, that then kind of spread throughout. It kind of makes it make a little bit more sense, because there is a lot of plot holes in the Bible,
So you see, you guys got it all wrong. What happened was the aliens came here and they fucked a couple monkeys, and then those were Adam and Eve, and they created the rest of the life. And then we went out from there. Wu-Tang forever. That's what it says. I promise you, that's what it says.
That's pretty much what he says. Yeah. No, I don't think anyone else agrees with him, but I like that story better. So
it's very entertaining. It's like Prometheus, but instead of like disintegrating into the river, he went down the river and banged a bunch of monkeys.
Yeah. It is funny. There's a lot of weird holdover stuff in the Bible where you can tell they were kind of just like slapping together stories, because like some passages in the Bibles like talk about like multiple gods, where it's like very obvious at like some point like the Abrahamic religions were they weren't monotheistic, they were polytheistic, and like it started off as like our God is the best God, and eventually like halfway through like it transformed into no, there's only one God, but they didn't take the other parts out of it, so it's not coherent,
Yeah, it's like the original translations is like, he created stuff and it's like they agreed that it was good.
Yeah.
And it was like no, that meant like like the Holy Spirit, and that's what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's you work your way down. It's like, whatever pre-Abrahamic thing to Jewish people to pre-Christians, and like then you get down the line, it's like you eventually end up at Catholics to try to explain the whole thing, to explain the whole mess that they made. It's like, there's Jesus, he's also a God, but there's only one God, but he's also in the Holy Spirit, it's also God too, but there's only one God. And we also worship Mary. You also got to pray to her, but there's still only one God. It's like it doesn't make sense.
I think it explains around like 500-600 AD. They were like, you know what? Just burn all the books. Let's just get rid of everything, and no one can read, and we're gonna tell you everything.
Yeah. I mean, that was the
Full
whole
circle
thing.
again.
The whole thing with like the Protestants with like Martin Luther, where it's like he finally started reading. He's like, "Hey, you guys are just making this all up. You guys are taking all our money and making it up."
I could do that. I'm gonna start the Lutheran Church.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Evangelism is the fucking devil.
All very silly.
Do you ever watch that show, Righteous Gemstones, on HBO? Danny McBride?
No, I don't think I've heard of it.
You should watch that. Do you have HBO?
Nah, I don't.
No, okay. Well,
Yeah, I'm cheap. I'm cheap. I don't have anything.
It's a funny show. It's about, it's got John Goodman, who plays like a huge televangelist, and like Danny McBride. I don't know the name of the woman actress, and then is it Adam Devine, the dude from Workaholics, like the short hair, like dude.
Mm-hmm.
They all play his kids, like his spoiled, rotten, like rich kids, and it's like it's this family that like goes on TV and preaches and God and everything, and then like goes and is just like batshit fucking insane. It's really fucking funny.
Yeah, that sounds like a good one. Yeah, it's always the people that like preach the loudest are always like they're covering up for something,
It's like Grindr gets fucking overloaded every time the RNC happens.
I heard about that. Yeah, it's so funny. There's a few people in politics where it's like, come on, dude, just come out of the closet. Everyone knows. Like Lindsey Graham, it's like, come on. Like you're not fooling anyone there.
Yeah. You're just making life harder on yourself.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I guess maybe it's just the appearance, because there's that one guy, like I forgot his name, George Santos. Do you remember him popping up?
The dude that lied about everything.
Yeah. Whereas like he was kind of like a compulsive liar, lied about everything. But then it finally got to that he's gay, and it's like, that's where they draw the line. It's like, we were cool with the fraud and stuff, but you're a drag queen? It's like, no.
Fraud, you're one of us.
Yeah. But it's so funny, because he got, like, ostracized from, like, both parties, because, like, Democrats don't like him for one thing, and the Republicans picked him up in the sense, like, oh, you're gay, though? It's like...
Yeah. Well, once his downfall started, that was really fun, because he got kicked out of all his committees. He was basically just like sitting there for like, I don't know, it was like a couple weeks or something. For they were like, yeah, dude, you like need to go.
Yeah. He was a funny one. There's a lot more weird stuff in his story. I don't remember all the details. I won't go into it. But there's some cool, like, I think NPR did like a deep dive on him where it was really interesting, his whole backstory. Like, it sounds like an interesting fellow if he wasn't like an elective representative,
Just like embezzling and shit.
Yeah. I think he got busted with some campaign finance thing, Of course he got caught up into it. But like, to be fair to him, it's like, I think there's like the list of crimes by people in Congress and the Senate. It's like he's probably like probably pretty low down there. I think he just got caught in like. I think they threw him under the bus because they didn't like that he was gay,
Yeah, I mean, there's become such a norm of, like, campaign finance, kind of, like, dirty work and shit. And especially since, like, we elect these people to go fucking represent us and govern for us and everything. And they spend, like, 75% of their time fucking fundraising. Like 75% of their time they're going to parties trying to get money from big wigs or making phone calls to mom and pops trying to get money from them. Like that's their fucking job, is to make money. And then they just go fucking spend it. But it's only ever when it's like, you know what? So you've done something that's pissed us off. So we're going to decide that this stuff is actually inappropriate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess that kind of brings us into, did you look into that guy, Graham Plattner at all, the Congress guy from Maine that's running?
I watched his campaign video, the like 2-minute one or whatever, and yeah, like is that what you were saying about him? Where it's like just like trying to like make that like hard stand of like the blue collar Democrat, you know, like you know, some good values but not taking bull crap and everything. But I felt so bad because he's like going through like his list of like accomplishments and the shit that he does, like, you know, I'm a farmer in my community, you know, volunteer fireman, and then he's like trying to start a family. And it's like a shot of him walking with who I assume is like a wife or girl, and I'm like, trying? Oh, buddy, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about him because I feel like they're meddling too much. Like, that's what I don't like about the Democratic Party is they're all like meddlers. It's like a bunch of rich people thinking like, yes, this is what the poor people like. Oyster farmer, you know, veteran. It's like he would have done like, and I think people see through it because I watched that video and it's like, what is this? What is this garbage? And you look and it's of course some like rich person from New York like is running his campaign and is coming up with the movie and stuff, but like, I don't think people in Maine are into that. I think they should have just like gave him like a video camera and be like, this is what I think, you know, and like let him do his own thing because it looks very fake, you know.
I mean, but you're thinking about that from like your perspective. Like, don't disregard the fact that like, you know, the biggest film franchise for the last 15 years has been, you know, Marvel. Like,
that's true.
There's plenty of dumb people who are swayed by that, and the thing is, like, the smart people, like you know, like either you're not voting, or you've already made up your mind. They're not trying to sway you, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to sway those fucking idiots who like special effects.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know if that'll fly with people in Maine though. People in Maine are like a very specific type of person where it's like very independent. It's not very like hardline political. Like in Michigan, like, you know, like northern Michigan, it's like you diehard Trump.
You can't do that.
Huh?
Northern Michigan is the South.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like Maine is like different where it can be like very conservative, but people in Maine will like they'll like I think the District 2 is like very Republican, but they elect like Susan Collins, she's a Republican who like votes Democrat. They have like an independent too. It's like it's very like independent people, you know. It's like they want weed, but they also want open carry. You know, it's one of the first places to legalize gay marriage. It's like very like pick issue by issue type thing, you know.
I want to get high and carry a gun around too.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Who doesn't?
Who says I can't relate with those people? Come on, man.
Oh yeah, that's why I love Maine. I love the people in Maine. A bunch of weirdos, but you know, it's like very very cool weirdos. I don't know if it's gonna work. He seems like a cool guy, and I don't even know who else is running. But and there's certain things in there too. Is like I hate when politicians say like, I don't know what the answer is, but I know things got to change. It's like that was one of the lines that say it's like, motherfucker, then why would I vote for you? Like I want to have someone running that says like, this is what I'm gonna do and this is what we're gonna do next. This is not just like, I know things are wrong in the world and we need to change things. It's like, oh yeah, what are we gonna change? You know?
Well, I mean, my big one is you know, we're gonna eliminate waste. Like we got up in here we got a crazy lady who wants to eliminate property taxes in Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
which is like the biggest supplier of funding to public schools.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, fuck the school. But she's like, I'm watching this news story about her doing it, just like cursing the dumb bitch out, and then she talks about how she's running for governor on the platform of eliminating waste, and I'm like, yeah, we already fucking did that at the federal level, and we ended up costing money. Like, how the fuck are we still fucking trying to campaign on waste?
Yeah, it's a funny thing for Michigan because like there are certain places like New York and like Chicago. There's certain places where like I think New York has like billions in deficit. Like, there's a crazy amount of spending, and there's a bunch of stupid stuff. Like, they're putting up, new screens in the subway, and like there's a lot of wasted money here. Michigan, it's like, I feel like that's the other end of the spectrum. It's like, you guys, maybe we should start fixing the roads and stuff. It's like
anywhere there's going to be waste, but waste at a level like that is not something that you can just go in and do like what Musk did, where you just start like axing shit and being like, this is eliminating waste, this is eliminating waste. It's like, no, this is eliminating fucking like functions, and they might have waste in them, but by eliminating them, you didn't eliminate waste, you created more fucking waste. Like the process of eliminating waste, just like in every fucking other realm of the world, requires investigation, thorough determination, and execution of a plan for an actual cause.
Yeah.
Like, it can be done, but it's honestly probably going to end up costing as much money as you're going to save.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of problems. And like,
sounds like waste.
At a certain point, it's like, you can complain about waste all you want, but then you look at the Pentagon, it's like the last audit they did, I think there was like, it's something ridiculous, it's like $20 trillion or something like that that's missing. We're just like, I don't know, where to go, it's like...
Remember when they couldn't find that plane? They're like, super advanced, like semi-invisible plane, they're like, yeah, we don't know where it is.
Really? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
I know there's another thing too. There was like some like nuclear submarine project where like they spent like billions of dollars for like a new fleet of nuclear submarines, and then they're supposed to make like 19 of them, and then they got one done, and they spent all the money. It's just like, oh, I guess it is what it is. I guess it's like, what do you guys spend the money on?
And it's like, it's funny because like you look at how the government and like to a degree like big businesses and everything like operate like that, and you're like, the only fucking difference between you guys and the old-fashioned mob is that you guys were the government and decided that the mob was the problem. Like, you're all doing the same fucking thing. It's just you were doing it legally because you were in control of the legal system.
Yeah, that comes down to the core of why I don't really like politics that much, because like it's all like made up. Like we come up with these like words to define everything, like Democrat, Republican, like democracy, monarchy, but it's like everything's just a power struggle. It's like you have some group that's in control, and they're gonna come up with reasons to justify why they're in control. It's like, oh, everyone voted for me, I can do whatever we want, or God said I'm the king and I can do whatever we want. It's like, but really it's just like one group has the power and all the guns, and and then there's all these subgroups, whether it's some other political faction or organized crime, where it's all just like different groups fighting each other for power. There's no like principles anywhere.
Call me crazy, but I don't think a representative in government should be paid like a generational changing paycheck for a job that they don't even do full fucking time.
Yeah. And I mean,
like,
that's
like absurd.
That's the least of the. I mean, most of them make their money from insider trading. Like, fix that first.
Or
like, ban insider
like most
trading.
of them keep their jobs.
Yeah.
Like like the lawyers and shit still practice law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it does sound like a pretty cushy job, for...
They pick their fucking paycheck and benefits. They all vote on it.
Yeah.
How much of a raise should we have this year?
Yeah, they need term limits. That's the two things. And to that guy's credit, Graham Plattner, that's two things he did specifically say. It's like term limits and stop insider trading, Because that's how it started. Like, I think there was a lot of good ideas at the founding of the country. And like from what I've read, like historically, that's how they kind of thought of like serving in the government was kind of like you're making a sacrifice. It's like it was people that were like really successful in their careers who were saying like, I'm gonna take off work for a couple of years to try to like help out, and it's like you're kind of like sacrificing money. It was like a self-sacrifice thing, and then I'll do it for 2 years, but then I'm gonna go back to doing my thing. And they never really thought of it like that this could become a career, or that anyone would ever want to be like a career politician. Like it didn't even enter their minds,
Yeah. But also, when the country was started, it was 13 colonies, and it was just the eastern seaboard basically, and it's more than quadrupled in size. Like, also the foundations that we run our country on are going on 200 years old, or over 200 years old, and not only are outdated, but the country is and society has changed too much.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a worldwide thing. I don't think you can point to any system and say, like, this is the way to do it. We're all, when it comes down to it, we're all kind of just like monkeys still, just kind of hobbling something together. It's kind of it's magic that it's held together this long, really.
Every like government / economic system fucking works on paper. Anarchy fucking works on paper. It's when you throw humans into it that it all gets fucked up, because inevitably there's going to be somebody put in a position of power who's only going to be looking out for themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
yeah.
That just is human nature.
Yeah, and that's why I look at everything. It's just like a power struggle. It's like democracy is like, I don't buy that the voting system in the country is not rigged. I would be surprised if everything is not meddled with. I think it's people in power who will, they can use democracy, or they can use whatever political system they say that they're in to justify their continuing amount of power, until people get tired of it and there's like a military coup, and then you see what the world really is. It's like, I'm in charge because I got the most people with guns following me, which is really what everything is. Like, there's no capitalism, there's no communism. It's like, it's all just people holding, using ideology to hold on to their power for some reason,
Yeah. Yeah, there's not a lot. There's just not a lot that we can do as the average person.
No, yeah, for sure. Which brings us to, I didn't care that much about it, but it did get me down to the oyster farming. That's the cool thing about the Graham Plattner guy. Did you look into oyster farming at all after we talked about
I did
that?
look into some oyster farming. I mean, it's a lot of work, but it's pretty cool. I don't know. I'm not digging all the boat work, but I can get to some sorting and tasting.
Yeah, I guess that's the problem with you. You don't like boats. I like boats. I like being out on the water. It sounds like a cool thing. Like, if I do end up moving to Maine, I'd actually look into doing that, because I think it's kind of like underrepresented in Maine. Like, Maine has a lot of like lobster fishing, and like mussels and scallops are a big thing. It doesn't seem like there's that many people doing oyster farming. And from what I've seen, I think oysters grow like slower in colder waters, but they're like cleaner. The slower the oyster grows, like the less toxins and stuff. So I think you get like real high quality oysters if you're doing it in cold waters up north in Maine.
What I was reading was that like a lot of their flavor depends on what they're eating, and so having almost kind of like murky algae, not clean waters is what you want for them, because then they take on more kind of vegetal flavors and stuff.
Yeah.
Which you haven't had them, right?
I've had canned oysters. I haven't had like
right.
fresh oysters.
So I had some this summer. I finally went with a friend, and we went and ate some raw oysters. And we the place we went to had I think 5 or 6 different ones. And so we tried the spread as far as getting checking out the different flavors. And it is really interesting how the flavor changes, between them, the tanginess, the saltiness, the earthiness, the umami kind of flavors. Like, it is a really unique experience.
That's cool. Yeah, I think get into it, because at least in Eastport it's untapped. Like, I don't think there's anywhere you could get fresh oysters in Eastport. I feel like that would be a huge tourist thing. Like, people coming off the cruise ships, you just had a little oyster farm. You just set up a little food truck or a little shack or something. Just dish out raw oysters. Like, I feel like that'd be a really good tourist business. You don't have to cook stuff. It's you don't have to think about tables and stuff. You just have a line of tourists comes up, just shucking oysters. I think it'd be a pretty good business idea.
Yeah, let me know. I'll come taste some for you.
Yeah, would you get out on the boat?
No, I said I'd come taste some. Did you not listen? Do you hear me when I speak?
Really, that even if I get the sailboat, you wouldn't even go sailing one time?
No.
No.
And literally, because I know who you are and I know how you operate, I wouldn't even get out in the dock, because I know you would try to take off at that point.
Yeah.
Like, I'll walk out on the dock and look at it, but I will not take that step on because I don't fucking trust you.
That would be pretty funny. I just have food stocked
For
up.
you.
It's like, oh, we got gas, we got food, Tim. We'll go back to shore in a week.
Have you seen What About Bob?
No, I don't think so. Maybe I have actually.
Bill Murray plays like someone with like a lot of like anxiety disorders and everything, and he like stalks his therapist to his
I have seen
cottage.
that. Yeah.
And so like the therapist's daughter takes him out sailing, and they got him like rope tied to the mast. And he's like, "I'm sailing!" Like that's what you would have to fucking tie me down. Not because I'm gonna jump over, just because I'm gonna be freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
I don't like deep water.
Yeah. Eastport is real deep water. That's one of the reasons it was such a big shipping area, because it's like you just go out a little bit, it's a big ledge. It goes to over 300 feet real quick there. There's a bunch of weird fish. They got great whites and sharks and whales, and they got everything there.
I do like 9 foot in the deep end of the pool. Anything over that is too much.
Yeah, well, I mean, Atlantic Ocean, like Northern Atlantic, you don't really want to get in that water anyway. I used to go swimming there all the time when I was a kid, but it's like it's not a pleasurable swimming experience. Like it's brutally cold, where you jump in and then you're just like seeing how quick you can swim back to the ladder to get out. You know?
Yeah.
The jellyfish.
Polar plunge any time of year.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I think it's like 15 minutes is all it takes. You'd probably die from hypothermia 15 minutes in the ocean there, even in the summer.
Yeah. Not for me. I like pools. Pools are good.
It's beautiful though.
Yeah. Be really nice if it had a pool.
If it had a pool by the ocean.
Yeah, if the ocean had a pool, I'd be way more into the ocean. But on land, I'm not talking about a boat pool.
You wouldn't do a cruise ship?
God no, for so many fucking reasons.
Yeah.
Like at a cruise ship, the deep water actually sinks down on the list of reasons I'm not getting on that fucking thing. Those things are fucking nightmares.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever do a cruise ship.
Not like even if everything went right, I am still packed in with like 500 random people. That's my goddamn fucking hell.
I feel like with cruise ships too, you're packed in with the worst type of people. Like I feel like cruise ship people, it's not a good quality of people on there. You know, it's stuck on a boat with them.
And they're not gonna let me smoke weed.
Yeah, I wonder if they have like a weed cruise ship. That'd be kind of a good idea, like 420 cruises or something. You know, I wonder what the legality is.
Well, it's definitely not federal. I wonder how it relates to like if it's everywhere the boat's going is, or if like there's some like port, like home port, right?
Right. I bet it would have to be you have to comply with the rules of wherever you're stopping in port, and even in like once you get like certain amount towards the show, then towards the shore, then you're in that country's waters. So you probably have to follow their laws.
If you're like known as the weed cruise and your fucking ship is painted like a giant weed leaf and you're rolling into port, the cops are probably going to roll out and start inspecting your passengers.
Yeah. And the Coast Guard still has a lot of sway. Like even like just sailing around around Maine, like the Coast Guard can just pull you over at any time and like search your boat and stuff. You know, they don't play around.
Need to legalize weed in one of those like coastal states, and then it's just like from there to Jamaica, right? And just like that's the only place it is.
Yeah, I mean we're getting kind of close. It's like Maine legal, New Hampshire's not. That's kind of like the stopping block. Like Connecticut or Massachusetts legal, Connecticut, New York. I wonder if Virginia and Florida. I think Virginia finally legalized too. So I wonder. It's like the southern Georgia and like Florida and the Carolinas. I wonder if they're legal.
It was like a week or two ago when Trump was looking for things to distract from the Epstein files. He said that he was going to look at changing the classification of weed.
Really? That'd be cool.
Yeah.
They give him props for that. I mean, it should have been done a long time ago.
I mean,
it's ridiculous that it hasn't.
I don't necessarily give him props because the change that needs to happen is the removal of the classification. Like it just needs
Oh,
not to be in there anymore.
They're just talking about making it like Schedule 3 or whatever.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's silly. Like as long as alcohol is legal, it doesn't make any sense to have weed illegal.
I mean, God fucking damn it! Look at the places that have done away with criminalizing drugs and start treating addiction. They're doing better.
Yeah, it's like Portugal. I wonder long-term studies how that does work. Because there's certain other places like I heard I think it's somewhere like Portland or Seattle that do that, and it's still kind of a shithole over there too.
Yeah, but it's a difference between state and federal. I know Portugal is like smaller, but like when it's the lay of the land versus like, our state federal shit is so sketchy.
Yeah, and I guess, and it really doesn't make sense to criminalize people doing the drugs. That point never made any sense to me. It's like, you're allowed to go to Walmart, you can buy a gun and shoot yourself if you want. That's perfectly legal. It's like, you should be able to, you can drink yourself to death. Why can't, it's America. I can't smoke crack if I don't want to,
To be clear, that's not legal, though. It is illegal to kill yourself. Everything that you did up to pulling the trigger was legal. The moment that you pulled the trigger and killed yourself, you have committed a crime.
Yeah, it's silly. It's like, well, I can buy like an AR-15 at a gun show without a background check, but I can't buy a little meth. Like, come on, government, get your priorities straight.
There's a good show called "We Own This City," which is about the Baltimore gun trace task force, which was a really fucking crooked department in the Baltimore PD 10 years ago. They used to kill and steal from people all the time, and the show does a really great job of talking about the war on drugs at one point, because it's they're like the war on drugs. What is it? Because it's not a war on drugs. We're not fighting drugs. So who is it actually a war on? And it's this whole time it's been a war on people who use drugs.
Yeah,
it's been low key on the people who supply, but more so than anything, it's been on the people who are using it. Yeah, that's what the war has been on.
That part doesn't make sense. Yeah, because
they're victims in their own rights, right? Addiction is a disease.
Yeah, and that's where they should shift their efforts to getting the people trafficking drugs and stuff like that. 'Cause it's I'm all for it. If you want to smoke meth, do it. But I do think it's arrest those shitheads that are bringing that into the community, because there's a certain amount of people that are just vulnerable to that stuff, and if you let that stuff happen, things go downhill. I saw it in Maine with opiates, when that was a legal one, where they started giving OxyContin to everyone and just totally destroyed the community, destroyed the whole county.
No, there needs to be a shift where it's right, it's no more traffickers. Man, you getting that fucking shitty ass hillbilly meth? No, we're gonna teach you how to make good old fashioned homemade meth that's gonna be just like your grandma used to make, and it's gonna blow your mind. They're no more of that shitty Mexican gas tank weed, man. That shit's ruining your life. You're gonna take this little seed home. That's what we need, right?
Yeah.
Heroin, fuck that shit, man. Do opium. Take it back to the source.
Yeah, we probably would be better off. There's for sure a lot of people that were addicted to opium, but it's nothing like fentanyl,
It's harder to OD smoking opium.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Which brings us to brewing. I had that on the list. Did you?
Opium brings us to brewing.
Yeah.
Great segue. I love that.
We're talking about drugs. Alcohol is a drug.
I like to shoot up heroin and talk about brewing.
Have you? You're talking about you were getting the itch again. Did you look into any? You gonna start any recipes or anything up soon?
I was gonna try to throw something together, and I just didn't have time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting to where I can be outside again, so I probably should just like maybe Saturday, because I got Saturday off and it's a long weekend, so maybe I'll run to the brew store and get some grain and have something to share next time about some little baby I got going. I'm feeling reckless. I could probably do that.
Yeah. Nice.
So you're telling me you had something new going, right?
Yeah,
Your
I got a jug of wine going now. I think it's going well. It looks like it's fermenting good. I think I'm dumping that last one. I think that one's going in the sink. Yeah, I tried opening up another bottle and tasting it. It tastes bad. It's just bad. It was supposed to be ginger beer. It doesn't taste much like ginger. I put too much soursop leaves in it, and then I just left them too long. It's like, I don't know.
I think when you are keeping things sanitized, I think any amount would have been too many.
That's the thing, is like it worked really good for a short-term brew. Like I did other ones where it was like not a lot of alcohol. I did ginger and I did soursop, and it was just like it was like a kombucha thing that we're talking about. It's like
because you drank it before the infection took hold.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So it's not that it wasn't infected. You just it's not like you know like an infected ferment isn't necessarily going to harm you, but it is going to taste bad.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I've been so cavalier about brewing, because I looked into it. Like, I'm not going to give myself food poisoning or something. Like, I'm not that reckless. I'm kind of reckless. I'm not going to do something like that. And I looked deep into it where I found it's like, you know, it's so either alcoholic or acidic. There's not really any harmful bacteria that can, like, infect your brews. Like, as long as it's making alcohol, it's going to be safe to drink.
It's just going to taste really bad.
Yeah, I found that out. Just because it's safe to drink doesn't mean you'll want to drink it.
Yeah.
Which is where I'm at with this one.
Yeah. That happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, at least you're working in small batches. There's nothing worse than having to dump 5 gallons of beer.
Yeah. And this one turned out worse, too, because, like, the first cider I made got infected with something, but it kind of just, like, turned vinegary. And, it wasn't actually bad. It kind of tasted good. It was kind of like, it tasted like an apple cider kombucha, kind of. It was like somewhere between a hard cider and apple cider vinegar, and it tasted all right. So I thought, like, in my head, it's like, oh, the worst thing that happens, it gets infected, and it just gets, like, a little acidic. But no, that's not the worst thing that can happen. You can get some pretty weird and not a good way, like, very unappealing flavors in there, where I think I told you, like, it kind of tastes like a compost pile. Like, so you got like some real old leaves in a compost pile, and it starts smelling kind of funky like old compost. It's like the aftertaste of what this has. It's like really strong. It's very alcoholic. I put a lot of sugar in there, so it's like you take a shot and it's kind of sour, and it's like it kind of burns a little bit, and then you get an aftertaste of compost. And it's just like, ew, this really does not work.
Yeah. No, you remember the sour beer craze? Like, I don't know how aware you were, but it was like maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. Like, everyone was making sour beer.
I didn't know it was a craze. I like sour beer.
Yeah. Like it was a big thing, and there was somebody I knew who would like make them a lot. And one time they brought in a watermelon one that had gotten infected, and the thing about bad watermelon flavor is it tastes like fucking vomit. Yeah. Oh, I don't think this one's for me.
I said it was a watermelon beer.
Watermelon sour.
It was like grain.
Watermelon too. You can make beer by you do the grain, you get all the sugar and stuff, and then you can add like fruit and stuff to it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know if I've actually had a beer like that. Are there any like commercial beers that are like popular beers that have fruit added to them?
Have you had Soft Parade?
Yeah, I like that a lot. That has fruit in it?
Yeah. It has berries added to it.
Okay, that's probably why I like it. Oh, I gotta try that sometime. Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I like Soft Parade a lot. That was one of my favorites.
Yeah, so here's the thing is even in fruit, right? So sanitize it.
Yeah.
Okay. Fruit's easy. You can do two really easy things to it. You could either heat it up, or you could even pour some vodka into and mix it with vodka, and the vodka will sterilize it. But God damn it, do something, man.
I learned my lesson. I got confident because I was doing short term ferments. I think
Right.
I found out you don't need to sanitize as much if you're making like kvass or you're making like some quick, lightly alcoholic thing. But yeah, if you're leaving something to sit for a few weeks, yeah, I'm gonna start boiling stuff.
Honestly, that is like vodka is a really good because you don't have to use a ton, right? You just have to use enough to like kind of coat whatever you're working with for a couple minutes, so that it, like the alcohol sterilizes it, and then the vodka is already going to start like extracting some flavor in it, and you just dump it all in.
That's a good idea. I know. We'll see how this wine turns out. Probably not very good.
I'm really looking forward to you describing the terria of the grape, especially like I'm hoping that you can get a little bit more information on the region that Welch's was gathering from.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. That one is kind of sanitized a little bit because it came from frozen concentrate. Bacteria is not surviving in the freezer, so it's kind of sanitized, but the yeast that I reused...
I was going to say that. So what yeast did you buy?
Yeah, no, I reused yeast.
Yeah,
That's probably not going to turn out right. I'll be very happy if it just turns out like vinegary, though. If it's just like a kind of a sour vinegary wine, I'd be happy with that. I really hope that compost flavor is not going to carry over into the wine that I made.
You'd been better off just like grabbing a couple like grapes from the grocery store and chucking them in at the end and letting the yeast from that ferment it.
Yeah, no, I would have. I think after this one, I'll see how this turns out. Then I'm gonna sanitize the jug that I'm using, and I'm gonna start fresh. Maybe I will just buy yeast.
I mean, I don't know, man. Could you afford the $5 for a packet of yeast?
It's because I was watching because I like history a lot, so I was watching like historically how people were brewing, and like they were pretty cavalier about it back in the day, where it's just like, yeah, you throw some fruit in there, or like early like Mesopotamian beers, just they like put grain in water and they just left it there, you're just waiting till yeast came around it and then they drank it.
Yeah, they definitely wouldn't like to have the technology and the equipment that we have today to create the product that we have today, right? Like, they preferred what they had. I had that conversation with this old fucker at the beer store all the time where he'd be like, yeah, I don't like modern lagers. I prefer them how they were meant to be drank when they first developed them. They're meant to be a little flatter and a little warmer. That's how they were back then. It's like, yeah, because they couldn't get them any colder or fucking more carbonated. You think some fucking mine worker from 1930 wouldn't love a fucking cold, crisp Coors Light today?
Yeah.
He'd fucking kill for that shit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like, we have beer where it's supposed to be now. Beer is great, so we don't need to fucking take it back anywhere.
Yeah. One thing that I do appreciate from the historical accounts is like, beer has become like very much so like one thing where it's like grain, hops. But like reading like historically is that they used to do, I forgot what they called it, but they used to use a lot of things. It's just like hops was just like one type of herb you could use to flavor your beer, but they were trying a lot of different things.
You can use pine needles.
Yeah. I like that idea where it's just like that, like it's kind of how the Romans looked at it too with wine. Like the alcohol is kind of like a carrier because like a lot of things are alcohol soluble. So it's like you use the wine and then put like a bunch of other herbs and like medicinal stuff. Like it was kind of like a medicinal thing. They were taking these herbs that are like healthy for you, and they looked at it that way. And then you're kind of infusing alcohol with it. I think beer has become more narrow now.
I mean, that all owes to like, what was it, like the 1700s when Germany passed the beer purity laws?
Yeah,
and like you could not sell beer in Germany unless it fit this criteria.
Mm-hmm.
And they like, it's great because like you look at the laws and they didn't even understand beer because it's grain, yeast or grain, hops and water, and they didn't even understand that there was yeast involved.
Right. Oh, at that time they were still just kind of like letting stuff go, and like it's the magic beer fairy turns into beer.
They would either like have like old ones, right, that they could use the yeast from that, or like there's like up in the Netherlands, there's a history where they would always brew the batches with the same like stirring stick, and so the yeast would like live on that stick, and so when they go to stir it, it would transfer in and then pick up some as they like keep stirring it, because they used to handle beer differently, right?
Yeah, I saw that there's this good YouTube channel that's all about like early American history. They were talking about that, how like bakers and brewers were like very interconnected, and like they would like work with each other if like, you know, someone that was brewing beer needed to start a new batch, they would use like an old piece of bread, you know, to introduce the yeast. And same thing with the bakers, like if they needed to bake something and they didn't have like, you know, a mother culture of sourdough or whatever they were doing, they would take like leftover, they would use the yeast from the beer.
The dregs.
They didn't fully understand the science at that point, but they understood that there's something going on.
Works.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we don't get it, but this is how it happens. Yeah.
And even there, they were talking about, like, they were looking at the recipes, and, like, you could tell that they didn't know what they were doing, because the recipes would call for, like, it was something like, it's like, they would put everything together, like, they would put the yeast in the grain and stuff together, and then they would boil everything, so they were actually, like, boiling their yeast and probably killing it, you know?
Yeah, most of it, yeah.
And then they were, like, they would put, like, raisins in it, so it's like they were killing the yeast to sterilize it, and then introducing new yeast with fruit, but then making their thing so it's not sterile anymore. It's like, yeah, they were not doing things proper, for sure.
Yeah, but there was all like, kind of, I don't know. There was a lot of like sour beers were a lot more prevalent back then too, because it was kind of a thing where it's like, if it's going to be infected anyways, they'll find a way to like infect it how they want it.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't end up like you experience where it tastes like trash.
Right.
They still have something that's drinkable, but they have a little bit more control over, you know, the fermentation and stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's been ways that like people have dealt with it, you know, and as the different advancements have come along. But I refuse to believe that there's anybody from history that would turn down the fermentation abilities and products that we have today. Like even the wines, like fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine like going back to like, I don't know, like 1400 with like a bottle of whiskey or tequila or something, like, check this fucking shit out.
Yeah, for sure. And like, yeah, it had to be frustrating back then, especially with wines, like with like aged stuff. Like you wait like 30 years, it's like finally gonna uncork this wine, and then you open it up and it just tastes like shit. It just had to be like so discouraging.
But I don't like wine back then was much more of like, you know, an everyday thing. So I don't think it was very often that they were waiting 30 years.
No.
Unless they like forgot about something, you know, that's much more of like an aristocracy thing.
There was things like, yeah, maybe not wines. I know mead was a big thing. There's like certain types of mead. Cool. I know there was mead. One.
Oh, huh? It's undrinkable. It's undrinkable when it's fresh, like when it's young.
Mead. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it tastes medicinal. Like when a young mead tastes medicinal, like cough syrup.
Really? Huh. What is it like from the honey flavor? What do you think gives it?
Yeah.
That? It's just too strong of a honey flavor.
It takes time to mellow out.
I know there's one, I think it was in Poland. I think Poland used to be very known for like their beekeeping and mead making. And it was like a type of mead they would make where it's like they would just put honey and like fresh fruit in a bottle, and then they would let that's one that they would age for like decades. And that was like one of the highest class, like aristocratic drinks out there. But yeah, that would really suck. Imagine that. It's like, especially back then, that money. It's like, how many of them do you bet like they already spent the money on this like way overpriced bottle of mead and it tastes like shit? But then it's like you don't want to look like an idiot, so you got to pretend like, oh yeah, this tastes awesome, you know.
Yeah.
This is the good stuff.
Mead's not really that great, like in my opinion, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about it before. It's like, even the concept of it is kind of silly. It's like, the whole point of fermenting is taking stuff that would rot and preserving it. And it's like, honey is already preserved. It doesn't make a lot of sense to ferment honey. You know, it's already the thing.
I like it when it's carbonated, because it like opens up the flavor more, and you can kind of taste more of the like what made up the honey, right? Like the kind of floral notes in the honey and stuff like that. But a flat mead to me, yeah, it tastes so much like cough medicine.
Is it really sweet too still?
I mean, it depends. Like, you can have ones that are sweeter and ones that are drier, but it's like, it's inherently going to have that like kind of sweet, you know, not like sweet on the tongue, but like sweet flavor. You know what I'm saying? You know how like sugar-free gum, you know, there's no sugar in it, but it still tastes sweet.
Yeah.
Because of the mint, you know.
Right,
Like,
I got you.
You know,
Floral.
cinnamon has that effect. Cinnamon is not inherently sweet, but it makes things taste sweet.
Right. I get what you're saying. Yeah, I probably wouldn't like it. I'd like to try it sometime, just to try it, but I don't think it's gonna be my thing, because I like dry wines. Like, I really don't like sweet alcohol.
No.
I don't like that flavor mixed together.
No, it's good for a try, but it's like, you know, I made it for a while. Like, there was, when I was working at the shop, there was one time where a guy brought in like a big bucket of honey, and the manager that was working there was like, he made a trade with them where he like gave him some grain, I think it was, or something for this big bucket of honey. And we were like, what the fuck are we going to do with it? And he's like, whatever the fuck we want. And so all of us just, I mean, I had, they were like containers like this. They were, what are they? They're like 10-pound containers. And I had 2 of those just like filled with honey, just because. So like, I made mead. And you're like, it really needs to sit for like a year before you're even going to try it.
Really?
Because like that first year is just like so harsh. It really needs to mellow. And I remember like got through that first year or so, gave it a taste, and was just like, I wasted that fucking honey. Shit sucks.
It's gotta be so discouraging. You wait a whole year, and then it's just bad.
And like we would, I mean, I kind of had an inkling too. I was like, I'll make good mead. But like when I was working at the shop, we would hold these events, and there was one time where we had like a mead tasting thing going on. There's like 10 different meads. I'm just like going down the line like.
Yeah, you've never had a mead that you liked.
I mean, like I said, carbonated and cold, like certain meads. There's a place around here, I think it's Bee Nectar in Ferndale, that does that. Like that's drinkable, but I mean, I'd always rather have a beer.
Yeah, that makes sense. What I want to try, it was another it's like a historical cooking channel, and he was doing a recipe. I think it's called like black mead or something, where it's like they would like put the mead and they would like caramelize it first. So you put it on high heat, you get it like caramelized black, and then you ferment that. That kind of sounded good, because it would like bring down the sweetness a little bit, add a little smoky. I imagine it would taste like the Guinness of mead, you know. But
I imagine it would just be richer.
Yeah, maybe it would just even taste worse. It would just bring up the flavors even more.
It's gonna be like caramel cough syrup, sweet.
Yeah.
At least it's not bubble gum.
I would like to get into beekeeping later. My dad had some beehives for a while, but they died in the winter. But I think that'd be cool. I don't think I'd make mead out of it, but just stockpile jars of honey, you know, just.
Honey's great, man.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not gonna go bad. You can just keep jars of honey. You don't need to turn it into anything.